Can a river be a mother? Can humanity in birth, in rites of passage, and in death find solace in the arms of a river? Yes, it can, if the river happens to be Ganga. My name is Lokesh Ohri and I am a cultural anthropologist. For over 10 years, I have been researching the various aspects that make Ganga so special for mankind. Come with me as we, through the series supported by ATCS, take a peek into little-known aspects of the Mother River in her journey through the Himalayas. What is life? What is death? According to the Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, the 700-verse scripture that is part of the epic Mahabharata, leaving the human body is like the mere changing of a garment. You leave one and don another, to continue your struggles in the never-ending cycle of birth and death, until you acquire enough karma, good deeds, to break free. It takes several lifetimes to comprehend this truth, but 5 minutes at the ever-busy cremation ghats along the Ganga can bring home this fact like nothing else can. But for the human mind, lost in Maya or the playfulness of the spirit, the detachment of the cremation grounds is soon overtaken by the ways of the world. Rivers across the world may have given the gift of life to people who lived on their banks. But no river in the world has given more comfort and solace to the dead, the dying, and the next of their kin than Mother Ganga. So what is left when one dies? A mere heap of ashes? Or perhaps just a name and a person's legacy? But do I even know my great-grandfather's name? Do we have any knowledge of our ancestry beyond a couple of generations? I bet not. But do you also know that an elaborate system of keeping family registers has existed in the sacred town of Haridwar, where people usually come to bid farewell to their loved ones on their onward journey from this world? If you're not certain about your ancestry, this is the place to come to. Make a few discreet inquiries and soon you will be sitting with a Panda, the writer of ancestors' accounts from your native village. Find the right scroll and you may get to see original signatures from several generations from within your family. I am at the Kusha Ghat in Haridwar, by the fast-flowing Ganga, where last rites of many a mortal are performed. Not a day passes when grief-stricken families do not come from different parts of the world, with the remains of their dead, soon to return to the ways of the world, to the world of Maya. It is believed that sage Dattatreya practiced penance here. The ghat itself is as old as the river and the human encounter with death, but in its present form was built by the Queen of Indore, Ahilya Holkar, around the 13th century. People perform the Pindadana, or the donation of the mortal body to the elements, after the cremation of the bodies of their loved ones at Kankhal. After this, they proceed for a tonsuring at the Nai Ghat, or the bank of the Barbers. But the most significant task to be performed is the entering of an update in the register of families, kept by the Bahi writers, where a meticulous record is maintained by these genealogists, the keepers of ancestors and family trees. All around the Kusha Ghat, in small cubicles for offices, the record keepers sit on the ground, closely guarding and protecting the Bahis, the record books that contain details of ancestors spanning several generations. It is believed that Lord Rama, who, in keeping with his father's oath, was himself dwelling in the forest while his father Dashratha passed away, came to these ghats after finishing his exile to perform the dead king's last rites. The priests gave him comfort, and he gave them the right to stay on by the Ganga and maintain the family registers from across India and even from what is now Pakistan, Nepal, and beyond. There are an estimated 2,500 genealogists here who regularly update family registers of people who come to Haridwar to perform the last rites of their loved ones. These men can usually be found busily jotting down recent births, deaths, and marriages. Many of these handwritten scrolls have been meticulously maintained by over 20 generations of pandas or priests, making it a popular family business and a historic practice. Most record keepers are acutely aware that their clients come to them in moments of grief. Therefore, they extend all help in arranging for the performance of the last rites too. Pandas, in fact, are aware of customs and rituals back home, while they are also responsible for designated registers categorized according to original districts or villages of a family's ancestors. Hence, a kind of trust develops with people of a particular region. The records are written in the Devanagari script, and many of these ledgers are over 300 years old. Carefully maintained with reed pens and Indian ink mixed with the resin from the mango tree. All the missing links are updated when the family visits for a cremation. Then these long scrolls are rolled and kept carefully, safe from fire and flood. Many of these genealogists have been in business for over 14 generations. In fact, some of the Bahis are even older than Tulsi Das Ramayana. One of the scroll is even believed to bear the signatures of the revered Sikh gurus. Most of the older records were written on Bhojpatra, the bark of the Himalayan birch tree, or on palm leaves, and have been severely affected by moths and moisture. Once this happens, older records are transferred manually to a new paper scroll. A few pandas have even begun digitizing records with the data once fed into the drive, offering the rotten old scrolls, like all mortal remains, to the Ganga. In order to understand this age-old tradition, I met several Bahi keepers in the by-lanes of Haridwar. One even helped me trace my own ancestry from my native village. In the past, people would often consult these records in order to settle family quarrels and property disputes. And law courts, I am told, also treat these documents as evidence. But over the years, as traditions have changed, fewer people now come to Haridwar to cremate their dead. It won't be long before these handwritten records, a significant slice of history along the Ganga, fade into oblivion. According to the Genealogical Society of Utah, USA, Hindu family records dating back to as far as 1194 were once maintained by the Haridwar genealogists. But with changing times, what is the future of this practice? Hopefully, with records being digitized and available online, the Bahi system will get a new lease of life. Like all great traditions, this one of systematic recording of ancestries will have to reinvent itself, acquire a new garment, as it were, to pass the test of time and mortality.